Welcome along, everybody. This is Sports 101, and we're back with sports updates, sports discussions after some time off. Yes, and so today we'll be talking about the Club World Cup amidst other topics, just in a relaxed atmosphere. We're talking about the Club World Cup, how the setting was. We are looking at Chelsea winning the Club World Cup. We're looking at is it a fitting preparation for the FIFA World Cup in 2026? We are looking at the pitches. We are looking at the financial aspect of it. Every other thing about the Club World Cup. First of all, what has been your impression about the Club World Cup so far that just ended?
Well, I think for the Club World Cup, the recently concluded Club World Cup is it was a good tournament in my opinion. I think it was better than what most of us expected it to be. Per the challenges that started in the first few days, I expected it to be quite a problem for FIFA. What challenges with getting fans into the stadium. The type of quality we are expecting the teams to come in with, especially that it was at the end of a very grueling season for most of these clubs. I personally thought that, look, the clubs like Bayern Munich and those who had gone the long haul in their various leagues would have fatigue would have set in, and so most of the players, they would have used the French players. But getting into the tournament itself, as it became much more cagey and stuff, they started bringing in some of the regular boys. After the 10-goal drubbing, Bayern Munich came in with the regular boys. The number started reducing from 10 to 6, and then got to a time they couldn't score, had to go out. You get it? So it's those were some of the challenges that I expected. But if this is a dress rehearsal for the World Cup itself, then the main show needs a lot of fixing.
I think
the main show needs a lot of fixing.
How so? I think so because there were some complaints from some of the managers about the quality of the pitch. I think Luis Enrique talked about the quality of the pitch, the fact that it was dry. And if you watch the games, you watch how the ball bounces. In terms of what the guys are used to in Europe, it wasn't really the same, especially because of the heat in the United States. And so there were talks about watering the pitch. So I think there were challenges at the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
We've talked about the heat. We've talked about, I'm sure you're aware that now FIFA is talking about the next year's World Cup where they want to give extended water breaks and all of that. And so I think that in as much as it was a good competition, it had its own fair share of challenges that could be improved upon going into the FIFA World Cup next year. Yes.
But I may have a little bit of a different opinion, because I think that the likes of UEFA and other confederations are trying to blow this thing out of proportion. I'm yet to see any major tournament that has had its what is it called, been free of controversies or problems. Almost every major remember Qatar 2022, lots of issues came up and all of that, but eventually arguably had one of the best tournaments or best World Cup we've ever seen in the history of the organization of the World Cup. So yes, because the Club World Cup was a novelty, especially the process of qualification, people really did not grasp the concept. And to talk about the fact that it's coming off just on the backdrop of the end of the season, it will have its issues, players fatigue and all of that. But for me, I think it gave us a picture of what is to come if FIFA is able to invest in this tournament and invest rightly, get the right teams there. I have my own qualms about the team that represented. I think some of the team that represented. Look at how some of the teams participated. Sometimes you were like, these teams are not supposed to be playing in Auckland City World and Cup, all of that.
It's something.
I've always talked about the fact that I think this first edition should have been invitational. Because if you're having a Club World Cup, kudos to Chelsea, but if you're having a Club World Cup, you need to be playing the best.
The
best of the best.
If you're having a Club World Cup, with the Confederations Cup, for example, they have the African champions.
The representation from Africa.
Champions of almost every continent.
And so with the criteria for qualifying, if you're having a Club World Cup and the current English champions are not there.
Yeah.
The current Spanish
Italian
champions
champions are not
Italian
there.
champions.
Italian
Yes,
champions
yeah.
are not there.
Yeah.
It takes away a bit of competition.
Yeah.
So that's it for me. I just feel that there were certain teams that could have made it much more competitive that were not there. And so that's the debate about the criteria for qualifying to the Club World Cup. If we actually had the best teams on the planet.
And I agree on that one perfectly well. Even marketing wise, you don't tell me that Dortmund will pull more crowd than Manchester United.
Yeah, and
Because
even
it-
more than Manchester and Liverpool in recent times.
you don't even
In recent
look
times.
at. We know the ownership of United.
Yeah.
They are from the US. We know that certain brands, their headquarters and stuff is in the US. United have a huge fan base there. Barcelona have a huge fan base in South America, closer to the United States. Imagine Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, after such a blistering season they've had, participating in this tournament. The crowd. I would not want to pay and watch. Sorry, but I'm not going to pay and watch Sekou Guirassy. I would rather pay and watch Rafinha. I'd rather pay and watch Bruno Fernandes. Even the match talked about, Højlund, Ahmad. I'll pay and watch these guys. So I agree perfectly. FIFA should have rather, because it's the first edition, let's make it invitational. Let's bring the best of the best. Then maybe in the next 4 years, we create a proper criteria where in the next 4 years, clubs that fall within that criteria will qualify. Because I think that, listen, this tournament would have gathered a lot of attention if Liverpool were there, Barcelona was there, Napoli, AC Milan, even AC Milan.
Yeah, it's
Manchester
a global,
United,
global,
exactly. So, but again, aside all of that, I think that is a solid. We've had solid, footballs. I mean, especially from the South Americans.
Yeah, the South American teams: Flamengo, Palmeiras, Botafogo. There's another one, Fluminense.
Yeah.
Also,
they did a very good work.
doing a very, very
They
solid
they really showcased their style of football, and for the first few match days, it really caught Europeans and other continent teams off guard.
Yeah.
Look at how-
Precisely those who have not been watching
watching
South
the-
American football.
Yes, look at how Fluminense was able to go through the group stages. The likes of Botafogo getting through the group stages. Some of these top European clubs could not match their style of play, and that is where. That is one of the positives or the pluses of this Club World Cup, the expanded version. At least it gives you a chance to see how these clubs also play in their respective confederation leagues. Okay,
Yeah,
talk of the
because
CAF
some of the
Champions
teams had
League
not come up against each
at
other
all before, and it was going to be very difficult for a club like Botafogo or Fluminense, or to as far as was it Pachuca?
Yeah, Pachuca from Mexico.
Pachuca from Mexico. It could have been very difficult for them to meet any grilled or well-seasoned European top club like what they had in this Club World Cup. So I think it's one of the positives for this World Cup. And logistically, some of the clubs had problems with intercity travels and the time zones. That is also a problem.
For me, I
Where
think
we
that
had to
those
talk
clubs
about.
who complain about those things, they are just being petty because it's very
Okay.
normal. Imagine the World Cup is held in China. China is made up of provinces. It's huge. You would have to travel probably a certain distance before you get to a particular distance. But I don't think that that's too much of an issue. United States has hosted a World Cup before. Trust me, I don't think this will be an issue come next year.
Because could that be the reason
we
why
are not going
the
to see that.
semi-final games and the final game
Were moved.
were all played in New York, New Jersey at MetLife?
It could be, but for me, I think that it shouldn't be so much of an issue. But then again, Sammy, maybe I really want to know this. Which of the continents you think that showcased its best self?
I have to give it to South America. You look at how they came into the competition, especially with the fans.
Yes.
They came with a lot of fans,
Of fans.
and you could see that they didn't come as underdogs.
Yeah.
They came believing in themselves. You have, I think you have all 4 Brazilian teams
Qualifying to the
qualifying
next
out
round.
of the group
Yeah.
stage. So there was Palmeiras there. Unfortunately, they had to be paired against another Brazilian team.
Botafogo. Yeah.
Yes, there was Fluminense.
Fluminense.
I think there was There's another F there.
There's Fluminense, then
then
Flamengo.
Flamengo,
Yeah.
Yes. So these teams coming into the Club World Cup and how they carried themselves, how they participated. Flamengo, I think they beat Chelsea.
Yeah.
Botafogo had that win against
PSG.
PSG.
There was Fluminense
Yeah.
getting all the way through to the semi-final of the Club World
Yeah.
Cup. And Palmeiras, you know, they were out on, you know, after extra time
Yeah.
against Flamengo,
Yeah.
no, against Botafogo.
Botafogo.
Yes, so for me, the South American sides were the surprise of the competition. I wouldn't say the European sides because everybody expected PSG to probably even lift the competition.
Yeah.
You would expect Real Madrid to go all the way. You would expect Bayern Munich to compete. Maybe we were not expecting Chelsea to win it.
It's not.
But you were expecting-
Don't say maybe. I don't think anybody was.
Well,
expecting
most
Chelsea.
most people were not really expecting Chelsea to win. I mean,
Except
the
Chelsea
belief
fans.
came in.
Except the
We're not
Chelsea
really
fans,
expecting
nobody expected Chelsea to even make it to
make
the
it to the final.
semi-final.
Yes.
But at least we're expecting to see Chelsea compete,
Yeah.
in the competition. The African teams, I think.
Sammy,
could
let's
have
talk.
done
Let's
better.
not talk about that.
And you know, it
Well,
brings
no,
us
people
back
are
to,
disappointed
it brings us
with-
back to that conversation
Yeah.
we're talking about the criteria for qualifying. Because again, we don't have the current best African
pyramid
teams.
structure.
Yes, we don't have the Confederation
But
Cup.
Sammy, for the African teams, my point is those that represented Africa, Alali, Sundowns.
These
By
are
far,
Esperance, but with that
Esperance,
on the
Wydad
continent, these are the
yes.
creme de la creme. Sorry,
yes.
the creme de la creme
I
from
mean,
the continent.
with that Esperance of Tunis, Sundowns, and
with
then
that.
to a large extent Alali.
Yeah.
These are the three clubs that obviously
Over the last decade,
would easily win the CAF competitions.
Apart from
Hands down.
Sundowns and Alali, I didn't really expect Wydad or Esperance.
Well, with that, in the last 2 years were okay. I mean, they were very good in the Champions League. They were good in the Conference Cup as well. So for them being there, I think they had merited. But their preparations to the tournament maybe let them down. But aside with that, the other three clubs, they were the clubs that, for me, if there was no competition to get African clubs to qualify for this particular one, you would have easily pinpointed them to go and represent because you knew they would do better.
El Ali
the-
Sundowns.
Al Ahly Sundowns and then Esperance.
So I would even put
Especially
aside.
Al Ahly.
Let's even put aside Esperance because Tunisian football has been a bit disappointing
Of late.
But El Ali Sundowns, two clubs well run, very well funded. They buy the best of the players on the continent. They play some of the best football on the continent. I honestly, we've had this discussion. It's not about African players or the African team not being quality enough because we saw the performance El Ali put up against Inter Miami, even the performance El Ali put up against some of the best teams we've seen. We saw Sundowns against Borussia Dortmund. They again, for me, they fizzled out or they lost it mentally. The problem has never been talent. The problem has never been money. It's the ability for us to cross that hurdle. Because if you look at the South Americans, the way they play the Europeans, there's no fear factor. The way they play there's no fear factor. You watch Botafogo taking on Inter in PSG, and it's like, we don't care, you are the European champions. They come in hard. Even River Plate and Boca Juniors, who were booted out, they came in hard. I do not know the mentality of the African teams that went there. And you see, what shocked me was after Sundowns, they were eliminated.
Yeah.
They were dancing, they were celebrating mediocrity.
No,
Because-
because they had to appreciate their
they had to appreciate whatever.
No,
They had to appreciate their
I
fans.
appreciate what fans
They had to
for
appreciate
doing
their
what?
fans for traveling all the way.
Sammy, for doing what?
For coming to support them.
Well,
For doing what?
they participated.
No.
They participated
For
in
participating.
a historic
Or for getting
tournament.
for
one.
when you
And then
when
they
you
got,
win
I
a
think they
game,
got
how much is it?
better. They've got a lot of
They
money
had the best
too.
performance.
They had the best performance.
See, that is the mediocrity I'm talking about. We take pride in the very little things. Oh, I played well. I possessed the ball well. But eventually, Sammy, we are talking about Chelsea. Chelsea has made in excess of $100 million by winning this tournament. A team that not many people regarded. But you see, one thing we all can agree is that when Chelsea gets to that point, there's a certain aura around Chelsea, Sammy. You don't bet against them. And I've come to accept that. And Chelsea fans, I've come to accept that I won't bet against you in those moments. That's what I want the African team to showcase. It's all about coming there and some of you have the best suit or the best t-shirt or the nice haircut. That's what we dabble in. The minuses, we played well. When I saw that they were doing that dances, but this is mediocrity at its peak.
So what did you expect them to do? To bow their heads and shake
Yes.
and then go down the
We have been
tunnel?
disappointed because, Sammy, if you watch Sundowns, they could have easily progressed to the round of 16.
I think they lost it in that game against Dortmund.
Borussia Dortmund.
Yes.
When they went down by 3-1 or 4-1,
yeah.
thereabout.
Yeah.
They had the ability to win
to
that
win that game.
They came
Yes.
back and put some goals back. Al-Ali, same. They played out a 4-4 draw in one of the games.
Al-Ali's first game was supposed to be a win for them.
Against
The game
Inter
against Messi's team in Miami.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a win.
Do you get it? Then they
And
play
then
4-4
they-
draw. Then they get excited. I mean,
So they played
Al-Ali
1-1.
Al-Ali is primarily like the Real Madrid of African
Africa.
football.
Yeah.
So if FIFA sees you worthy to ask you to represent the African, honestly, I didn't have hope in Experience. I didn't have hope in Wydad. I didn't have hope in even Sundowns. But I had a lot of expectation and hope in El Ali because this is not El Ali's first. El Ali has had Brazilian managers. They've had Brazilian players playing for them. They pay some of the best salaries on the continent. When it comes to facilities, they can rival some of the best European clubs. So I expected El Ali to go there, but I also went them with the same African mentality, mediocrity. We take pride in.
Does that mean so wait, with all this, it means that what? The CAF competitions are not good enough?
They're not good enough.
Does that mean that we don't have the best of representatives whenever it comes to world stage performances? Because let's go there. World Cup itself, you're always in trouble. Morocco, who recently saved our blushes, we're always in trouble during the World Cup. I mean, and now it's a Club World Cup, and we have this performance from our African countries or African teams. So what else? Does it mean that CAF organized competitions are not really of top quality?
Sammy, what's your take
Or
on that? That's a brilliant question.
Because
That's
I'm
Is it
asking
that-
myself these questions. I'm like, no. So what actually can we do right in football?
Sammy, what's your take
I
on
think
that?
that the top teams on the African continent, when it comes to mentality, maybe to some extent, but we've seen African teams go to the Club World Cup final in the past. We've seen TP Mazembe play against Inter in 2010.
Yes.
We could have built on that. Again, I think that I would have to agree that we don't really have that elite kind of competition when it comes to African football. That's the reason why we have only a handful of top quality teams. So
in
if
Africa.
you talk about Al-Ali, you talk about Sundowns, some teams from the north, Esperance, and then now Pyramids are coming up. We go somewhere to East Africa. TP Mazembe is in East Africa or South Africa. One of them.
TP Mazembe.
East Africa.
TP Mazembe.
Yes. You look at the Tanzanian sides that are coming up.
Simba,
Simba, SC, and all those one did not get.
If you come to West Africa being a powerhouse of African football, you can't necessarily.
It used to be
For West Africa, I think the best will have to be
Asec
Nimba,
Mimosa, and, you know-
Asec Mimosa is in those days.
Yes,
I mean,
that's what
currently
I'm
you
saying.
only
It
talk
used-
about
it used to be-
Cameroon.
It used to be
You can't
Asec
necessarily
Mimosa,
pinpoint-
you know.
I think
and all of that.
Yuande. Yes, Yuande of
Yeah, some
Cameroon
of
also.
those,
And then there's these Malian clubs too that are trying
Exactly.
to do well. And then there's this Libya is with top North Africa, right?
Yeah.
The Libyan Al-Ali Tripoli.
Yeah.
They are also doing very well. Then the Sudanese club where Kwesi Appiah went to.
So when
have
you
his,
look at
this
these
thing. So
teams and then you go back to the reason why even CAF doesn't play the Champions League, why they play the Champions League final over 2 legs. There's a reason for that.
I mean, I've always, who does
And
that?
all
A
that-
major competition like this, you
Exactly.
play
It
the
has to
final
do
over
with-
2 legs. Who
it
does
has
that?
to do with publicity. It has to do
Publicity,
with having fans at the
money,
stadium. So
yeah.
if you have 2 African teams coming up against each other in the CAF Champions League final or the CAF Confederations Cup final, and you want to play at a neutral ground, now how many of those fans from their countries,
their countries
can
will
afford
come?
to actually go
But I mean,
there? So I'm coming.
Oh,
It gives
yeah.
us that idea that
Yeah.
it is already a challenge
Yeah.
in African football in terms of the quality behind the scenes in the first place.
Yes.
So technically, the game has not developed from the African perspective
Exactly. So it's not
to
just
that extent yet.
and all that is a reflection of what we see on the pitch. So from administration to facilities to exposure, and you get to see some of the local African guys when you come up against Real Madrid and you're standing on the same
excited.
pitch as Luka Modric. You're already thinking about how you want to
Get a jerseys or probably get a picture.
These same African guys are the ones that go to Europe and play for the likes of AC Milan
And do better.
They play for Real Madrid. They play for Barcelona. They play for these clubs in Europe. Essien moved from Ghana to Bastia to Lyon to Chelsea. So these same guys on the continent, we say that okay, they failed themselves against these Europeans and there's some level of inferiority complex. But when they get there, I don't know. That's why for me, I think that is a mentality thing because we still yet to maybe that's where probably your point will come. We're still yet to break that barrier of seeing ourselves on an equal pedestal with them, that we are as good as them. Because genuinely, why is this guy thriving? Osimhen.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the typical number 9s currently we have in the world.
Yeah.
You cannot name a proper number 9 currently in the world, that old-fashioned striker, and you would not mention Osimhen. He's from the African continent. He's bullying the whites. He's doing it all. Shehu Gurasi is doing it here. So again, it's a duplicity or multiplicity of issues. But for me, Sammy, it's African teams, their performance in the Club World Cup 1 out of 10. Very disappointing.
1 out of 10.
Yeah, Sundown should bow their head in shame. El Ali should bow their head in shame. Esperance should bow their head in shame. Which other club grab you? With that should bow their head up, because you don't go there and put up these performances and expect that you are praised. You think the fans of Boca Juniors, River Plate, will be excited welcoming their club back after
whatever is
after
happening?
they bowing out of the group stages? It tells you the standard they've set for themselves.
Yeah.
Even though this might probably even be a preseason, but it's a major competition on the on FIFA's calendar. So for Africa's performance, for me, guys, I think it's 1 out of 10. I think I've done justice for them.
So with that, South Africa, I think for the Europeans, I would say they are okay, Anna. For the Europeans, we expected this from them. So with whatever they've done,
Inter Milan maybe
with what they've done, yes, I didn't expect Inter Milan to do that. I think Inter Milan's performance, probably it will go a long way to confirm what some pundits were like. They didn't deserve the final in the UEFA Champions League.
Which team deserve? Barcelona
to a large extent, probably because look, after the finals, we're like, no, Inter Milan shouldn't have been in this final if this is the performance. And most people were like, the Barca game, they were not really there. Not really there as in that
because and I was like, in the Champions League, yes, before the game against Bayern,
they list number of goals, and I was like, no,
in the build up to that semi-final.
This Inter Milan team in the final of the UEFA Champions League, yes, probably is a one game that didn't go well for them, but before that they've been splendid. So I was very surprised at how they performed at the Club World Cup.
They couldn't recover from the shock.
You should also understand that they have a new manager
and a new system.
Christian Kivu.
Yes, they have a new
but some of them have the same squad.
Yes, but you probably would want to implement something new.
Okay.
Into the team. So it could be a number of factors. Yes, they are Inter Milan. You expect that they would compete, but it was quite disappointing from them. They were one of the teams, for a team that played in the Champions League final, you would expect that they should at least
go through the group stages
in the competition. So that I would agree that
Inter Milan, most disappointing team.
I would think
most disappointing team for you.
For England, in
the tournament, in
the whole tournament.
No,
for the
European representation.
Well, I think I didn't really see Madrid as I wanted to see them.
But Madrid has been this throughout the season. They've been terrible. I
expected Real Madrid
Real Madrid have
much more.
the semi-final.
That's the point. They made it to the semi-final because they had that extra if he was in a lap, you would say they had that extra leg.
He probably wants to see Real
I
Madrid
wanted
did
to
not-
see Madrid at the like when after cooking,
They didn't
when you
do
do that
any-
sprinkling.
Real Madrid
The
did not
best.
miss any major
You get
competition
it?
throughout
The
on their way
best.
to the
You
semi-final.
get- But it was they didn't do anything.
You know,
convincing.
you know the thing people have
But they-
against
they
Chelsea,
just
saying that
qualified.
Chelsea did not really play some of the big boys on their way to the final or whatever. You could say same about Real Madrid.
Madrid,
Yes.
They-
I mean, there was nothing spectacular about Madrid. Don't, sincerely speaking, watching the Madrid games, you're only watching out
Madrid
for.
had been like that all season.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying for Real Madrid. Let's not be too
but it's
because
too-
they've been
but it's
terrible
Real
this season.
Madrid.
No, you see, I think
Well,
that's-
they've been terrible this season. Yes.
That's the problem a lot of people have with Real Madrid. Let's say Real Madrid is going into a Champions League season. They don't really analyze the season Real Madrid have had because it's Madrid and because they seem to gather something from somewhere or they have that X factor. They always think that Real Madrid will be there. But listen, and this season has proven that, Sammy, if you are terrible, you'll be exposed. PSG have been good, and it's reflected in everything. They won the Champions League. They made it all the way to the final. And the final, because they were terrible, they were exposed. In the final, nobody can tell me PSG played a better football than Chelsea.
No. Chelsea did tactically.
Chelsea outsmarted them. So I think that at least if the evidence of what we've seen this season is that if you are not good or if you don't show up at that particular moment, you'll be found out.
I think we are being a bit unfair to Madrid because they've raised the bar so high that even getting to the semi-final now is underwhelming. I don't know if we are talking about the quality of their play, but irrespective of the quality, I think that the fact that they were able to make it to the semi-final, we are still not impressed with Real Madrid.
Were you
Yes,
impressed?
because
I wasn't impressed.
I was also not impressed with the
Exactly, were you
Madrid.
impressed?
I think we should cut them some slack.
Okay.
Especially again, they have a new manager in place.
But
they're trying to-
but they've beefed up squad, not with any player, but quality. They've beefed up with quality. They've got a good manager, proven in terms of European and then also local league that is in the German Bundesliga. So for Madrid, with the new coach and the new players that have come in to play during the tournament itself, I think whatever recruitment they made were of quality, and it didn't really have a change in the setup or probably the play for Madrid. The style of play that Madrid played in the Club World Cup for me was quite similar to how they ended the season. Probably maybe you want to talk of the forward lines, how the forward lines operated and everything. But basically from defense all the way to the middle, maybe there was some change of personnel with Militao and Co coming in. But the style was virtually the same. And that's why I'm saying that I was not really impressed with Madrid. But just as you said, well, we can cut them some slack. But again, this is Madrid. This is a world trophy, a World Cup trophy. Okay. As world champions, as you want us to believe you are. Because for Madrid winning the UEFA Champions League for 3 consecutive times, getting to the semi-finals consistently, being with Don Carlo as the main man, the whole world, everybody thought they were the best club in the world. And so in the World Cup, when we all the best, the creme de la creme are meeting to show up,
The
I
creme de la
expect,
creme were not there.
well, that is how you want to put it. But it was designed to bring the best of the best.
No, but
it's a
like
club
said, the
World
best of the
Cup.
best was
Yes.
I mentioned earlier on.
I know that
Italian
the
champions
best-
were not there.
Yeah.
The best of
English
the best
champions
were not there.
The
But
Spanish
per
champions
their
were not there.
criteria, this is the best of the
Even the
best.
African champions were not there.
Anyway, guys, let's try and wrap
But
up.
was
on
it a
this.
success?
But we cannot talk about success without talking about Chelsea. Chelsea fans.
You dove your heart off
Yes,
to them.
I do this for you, and if I had a stone, I'll probably say this is your stone. But
it
I mean,
back.
Chelsea, they've defied all odds, and we need to commend them. Yes, some may say, oh, they didn't come up against, but if Inter were good, they would have made it through. If Man City was
Were
good enough, they would have beaten
made it
El Ahly.
past
So,
the Al
and
Ahly.
like the saying goes, you beat the opposition before you.
Yeah.
And every single opposition before Chelsea crossed that hurdle. And again, I mean, you don't need to win all matches to win
be
a
a
major
World Cup,
tournament or a cup competition, unless it is the final, which requires that you win. And Chelsea have done that. What do you make of Chelsea's performance?
I think I have to say I was very surprised that Chelsea made it to that final. When they
Surprise, okay.
Oh yes, when Chelsea went past
Very much surprised.
Benfica, that was not surprising.
Yeah.
But I was so sure that either of Fluminense or Al Hilal
Will
were
beat
good
Chelsea.
enough to eliminate this Chelsea side,
It's Chelsea.
especially because of the season that Chelsea had had, and the fact that Al Hilal and Fluminense were flying in the
Yeah,
tournament.
yeah.
They had, I can say that they were having even better performances than this Chelsea side. What worked for Chelsea, I think, has to do with the signings they made whilst they were in the Club World Cup.
Okay.
Bringing in
Delap.
João Pedro, bringing in Delap.
Yeah.
These two guys played a huge role.
But City also brought in, Czechie, and they brought in Czechie.
They brought in Czechie.
Yeah.
Rangers also.
Yes,
signed.
assigned for them.
Yes, that's true. But we are talking about impact here.
Okay.
I don't think that Chelsea would have had that impact if they had gone into the Club World Cup.
That's very true.
Up to that level with
With
just Nicolas
only
Jackson.
Jackson.
That wouldn't have worked for Chelsea.
But it would have been serious for Chelsea to go all the way with only Jackson.
Can you envision Chelsea doing what they did with Jackson leading the line?
No.
Goals would have come in from.
So you
Goals would have
guys,
come in from
are you-
Enzo and others.
Guys, are you
Without
saying
Jackson,
that
not
Chelsea wouldn't have won the tournament with Jackson leading the line?
the Jackson of last season? No.
I don't think so.
Maybe there's a new Jackson. Maybe there's a new. Just like we have
But
always
it's
been
the
saying,
same
there's a
Jackson.
new Hotland.
I
There's
don't
going to
think
be a
so.
new.
Is it-
Jackson.
Why
There's
don't you
something
think
about
you have-
the players around you making you better.
Yeah,
We started
yeah.
seeing the best of Cole Palmer when
When
João Pedro is a hard worker.
His movement
His
and
movement,
everything,
yes,
his runs.
yes.
You saw the assist from Cole Palmer.
His
to João
ability
Pedro in
to
that
know how to run
Exactly,
behind those
that
defenders,
telepathy
pick
between
those
the
spots
guys.
and all of that. Yeah.
Exactly. And so you could even see that when Jackson came on at some point, he by all means wanted to get a goal because you want to register your name on the team sheet for the next game. So I think that those signings were a huge factor in Chelsea winning the competition. Kudos to Chelsea. But again, I think in that final, even with the signings, the fact that they were able to outdo Paris Saint-Germain 100% had to do with the tactics of Enzo Maresca.
A man that so many have underrated, a man that so many have failed to respect the body of work he's done. Maybe albeit he was coming from the championship.
Yeah.
And he came into a Chelsea team that is coming from being handed over to by 2 or 3 managers. There was Chelsea was almost all the time in a rebuilding phase. So from Graham Potter to Pochettino. At every single point, Chelsea was rebuilding. They were buying. You don't know what they were trying to do. And so I think there was so much expectation on Maresca. That's why people did not really see or have not really paid attention to how good he is.
Was it really an expectation of Maresca?
Yes, because it's Chelsea.
But I think
It's like playing for Manchester United.
Okay.
It's not
Even
okay
if
for
no, I'm just saying. No,
Sammy.
I'm just saying that. No, I'm just saying that. Listen, there's certain clubs. Manchester United, Chelsea, Barcelona, Real Madrid. Real Madrid won the league with Vicente Del Bosque. They sacked him. They won the league with Fabio Capello. They sacked him. They expect a certain standard. You think that Arteta will still be at the helm of affairs if he was managing this Chelsea team?
If he was even managing United,
He would have been fired long time
Manchester
ago.
United.
And so there's a certain level of expectation to play for a club that, in a way, sees itself as a big club.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, Chelsea right now can be put into that conversation. That's a different conversation. But like I agree with you, Maresca, top job.
Do you think that Chelsea going into next season is a force to be reckoned with, especially from what we've seen at the Club World Cup, the confidence of the guys, carrying that confidence into the next season with the players that they've signed? Are they title contenders?
yes, Chelsea always starts the season as title contenders.
Hey,
Chelsea always
Were they
starts. Chelsea
When they started
always.
last
Yes,
season,
last season.
Hey.
Last season they
Chelsea
were
fans.
title contenders at a point. They were title contenders.
last
And
season.
nobody-
and that
nobody
is where
gave them that
Maresca
chance of
told
being
us.
title contenders.
And that is where Maresca told us that
See, I do not think that there was
he's with
every
the-
point at the time in the season.
Chelsea were not.
Oh.
They were not on top. but they were points okay with Liverpool before they started going
They are
down.
telling us that because Chelsea has won the Club World Cup, going into
next
they are
season, they are title contenders.
Obviously, they are a better team.
They are better team
But they are
than what
better team,
the
but they are not title contenders. I mean,
from Pochettino.
the Premier League is a different ball game.
From Pochettino down
Yeah.
to Maresca.
Yeah.
I think Maresca was not given his flowers, or we've not been giving Maresca his flowers because probably, personally, I thought Pochettino did good work with Chelsea towards the tail end of the previous season.
That's true.
Last 2 seasons. Did good work. Did the boys well. When he was about to unleash the Pochettino style, things didn't go well. He had to move. You get it?
Okay.
So now with Maresca coming in, all he had to do was manage things there based on whatever Pochettino had done. That is how I feel, probably because we have not been giving Maresca his flowers. But kudos to him after this Club World Cup.
Okay.
I can say that he's now going to be one of the top managers, not in England but also across the world, because of whatever he's done with Chelsea. I mean, that mindset he used to beat PSG in the final alone gives him what, plus 25 or plus 35 points.
So I mean, rating the Club World Cup: success, not so success, failure. Where would you rate the Club World Cup?
Obviously, it was a success.
In success, how would you rate it? 1 out of 10.
The fact that the competition has started from the beginning and ended the way it was supposed to end, the scheduling, I think that, yes, especially because it's the first edition. There will always be challenges when you're doing something for the first time. So, yes, I'm sure FIFA themselves would have seen some of the loopholes that they would need to correct going into next year's World Cup or subsequent editions of the Club World Cup. So, yes, I would rate it a success. There were challenges with the weather. There were challenges with the pitches, as some coaches said. There were 1 or 2 challenges that some people were not comfortable with. I think there were challenges with attendance at the beginning because FIFA inflated the prices. So maybe next time they would look at bringing down the prices of the tickets as they did. They will look at some of those things. I think another plus side is that a typical American would now understand what proper football is.
For that, they will always fight with us.
You don't blame them.
They will always fight with us on that.
But soccer, they call it soccer. They don't call because for them football is that American football. So soccer is not their thing.
Guess
don't
what?
Blame them.
The Americans are also saying something else.
What are they saying?
They've now introduced to the world what we call halftime show.
Well, everybody knew the halftime.
No, not everybody. It was something that is not in. It was something that is in
American
football.
sport.
No,
not in football.
Yes, it was something that was not in football.
Yes.
So the whole world, most people didn't know halftime show. But here is a halftime show with, is it Thames?
Yeah, Thames.
Yeah. So
Nigeria.
So it means that we can have World Cup, we can have a normal league, and have a halftime show.
Yes.
And then even the
invite
manner in which
Shatawale.
the players come out of the tunnel.
That's how
Yes,
it's
been announced.
That's how they do in the
NBA.
US, in the NBA, or American football, or the Major League Baseball. That's their tradition. You know, it's a thing. So
You give the stadium announcers work to do.
yeah, you think that it's been a success?
Oh, I think it's
even success, failure.
Well, I think it's been a success.
Yeah.
I mean, generally, it exceeded expectations. It exceeded expectations. We saw some standout moments from the clubs here and there. But just as I said earlier on, if this is a full dress rehearsal of the World Cup itself, then the main show needs to iron out some wrinkles for everything to be best. Because there are some things that they have to work on. I don't know how best they can work on the breaks. Not the
water break.
The water break. The weather breaks.
Oh, for that,
another
I'm sure
I just don't know how they can work around
they
that.
will find a way because
Because it's really disrupted the
what
flow
I'm
of
hearing
football.
is they might all the stadiums that will be used for the tournament might just be a closed roof stadium. That's the information I'm hearing. That
Okay.
they might just take that approach so that whether
that
it rains
closed
or whatever, closed roof.
So
that there will not be any
you don't have any challenges with lighting
with lighting, everything. They will have a closed roof.
That means they have a short time to
to do the redesigns and everything, because you have to do a
We're
whole
talking about one
redesign.
of the biggest economies in the
Look
world.
at the MetLife Stadium, how big it is.
these guys.
Look at the MetLife
technology
Stadium,
has
how big it
advanced.
is.
They can do it. But anyway, I mean, it's been a great discussion. Sports 101. We're back again after a break. Just make sure you subscribe to the channel. Go to Facebook. There's a Facebook handle, a Facebook page, Sports 101. On TikTok as well, Sport 101. Then the main channel is on YouTube, Sport 101. Follow us, subscribe. You get to get more updates on everything we're doing on the show right here at Sports 101. Anyway, guys, I mean, lots of things happening in the transfer market. Just this afternoon, or it actually started yesterday, news broke out that Nicholas Jackson is a potential target for Manchester United. You know, when the story broke out, honestly speaking, I was taken a bit aback because he's not your typical fancy striker. But I don't know why people think that Nicholas Jackson to Manchester United would be a bad move.
How good of a move would that be?
Where is that story coming from?
Well, Fabrizio has reported it. Other outlets are reported. I mean, for transfers, people report. I always say that until a deal is signed, when it comes to transfers, you can always, play around rumors and all that. But Sammy, genuinely, Nicholas Jackson to Manchester United.
I'd keep Hojlund.
You keep Hojlund?
I think it would be a terrible move.
Better.
I don't think he's a United kind of player.
But when you say he's a United kind of player, I mean,
A player that Chelsea have looked to replace by signing 2 quality forwards. United are in dire need of a leader up top. They're in dire need of somebody that can lead the lines and bully his way through strong defenses. If we're talking about that, we're not talking about Nicolas.
But how different is Jackson from Hojlund? And Hojlund needs polishing up with his finishing. Hojlund is a work in progress.
What
Jackson is also a work in progress.
What has been?
He also needs his he also needs. I mean, polishing in his
I'm
finishing.
really interested in why you guys feel Jackson is not a United
because Jackson
player.
is not what
do you mean by he's
United
not a
need.
United players? I mean, guys,
No, Jackson is not what United need. Why is Jackson?
who do they need?
United, just as Sammy said, they need a leader, a proven striker. If not old, well, you don't want to go the old way, but even if it's young, someone who can get you 15, 20 goals.
Name those proven strikers out there in Europe.
Osimhen. You can get
those are the
Osimhen.
names that have been banded around.
No,
You've heard
I'm
about
United.
So
Hugo Ekitike.
Hugo Ekitike, Hojlund,
is Hugo Ekitike
Osimhen,
a
Sesko.
We're hearing about
Because-
Arsenal has backed off the Sesko deal. So why not?
Is Hugo Ekitike a proven? You spoke about season experience leaders. He's just had one good season at Frankfurt.
Not really season experience.
23
What
goal
I'm-
contribution in
very
total.
good. He's given 23. Someone who knows his craft. Someone who's got that polish.
So United should go for Hugo Ekitike, which Liverpool are on the verge
Ekitike-
of signing.
Good. If Ekitike was available, no problem. Sesko, this gentleman or this player has been there year in, year out. What is the profile of Jackson compared to?
but-
No, Jackson is
Alexander Isak.
Isak.
These guys-
But guys,
no.
I
Why on earth will you think of Jackson?
do
to
you know
United?
that genuinely, and like I said, I'll go to war with Jackson on this particular matter any day, anytime.
No.
Genuinely, Nicholas Jackson is a better option and an upgrade on any of the United strikers available.
No.
Nobody said you can convince me that you judge a striker by their defending ability, their ability to track back. In the end, it boils down to your goals. Hojlund last season, 32 games, 4 goals, 0 assists. His first season, almost 34 games, 10 goals, 2 assists. Nicholas Jackson's first season, 35 goals, 14 goals, 5 assists. Second season, 34 games, 10 goals, 5 assists. So there's nowhere in this world you can tell me he's not an upgrade on the striking option. Again, we're not talking about the forwards or the midfielders. The striking option available at Manchester United now is Zeski and who? Hojlund. How many goals you put them together? I'm coming. You put them together. None of them can even give you 20 goal contribution in the Premier League.
Lucky. After
So
trials.
how then do you tell me that the United striking option, they are better than Nicholas Jackson? On what grounds?
Lucky.
Guys,
Lucky.
Sammy,
After
Sammy, you're
trials
quiet.
with Virgos.
On what ground?
After trials with Virgos. Martial. Zexi.
Yeah.
Hojland.
Yeah.
And you still want to go for Jackson. How many trials do you need to get a finished product?
That's not the issue, but the issue here
Jackson is in the same category as these players.
But I mean, relatively, he's an upgrade on everything striking
relatively.
option right now.
Relatively, he is at the same level with these players.
But he's better than them in terms of
He's
their
not better than
output.
them.
No, you see,
How do you judge a striker?
When you have a player like Zexi,
Yeah.
a player like Rasmus Højlund,
Yeah.
when they were coming into United, they came in with a certain profile.
Yes.
Which profile is that?
They had certain kind of performances at their former teams before
Coming into
coming
United.
How many
But
goals?
when they
How
came
many
into
goals
United,
had?
we're not looking at the numbers.
But he's a
But when
striker.
they came into United, we've
Yeah.
seen the make of the team,
Mm-hmm.
and we've seen how they are still trying to adapt to the team.
Mm-hmm.
You have a Nicholas Jackson that is in a much more stable Chelsea side,
Mm-hmm.
and is still not cutting it there. The Chelsea fans are not impressed by him.
Is that not because? Is that not
United
because
do not
we see
need-
the player we see the player in the light of him missing certain chances we expect him to score? Fine. Again, I'm not going to say Nicholas Jackson is an Aguero. He's an Erling Haaland. He's not Kylian Mbappe. He has his flaws. Terrible. He misses chances you expect him to score. But for me, the point is whether Højlund is playing in an unstable United team or not, that's not the issue. I would always go to war with Bruno Fernandes behind me. Do you know why? Because Bruno Fernandes, his first instinct when he has the ball is to pick a pass. See the movement of a striker and pick a pass. You can fault Jackson for a lot of things, but he knows how to find the right spot. His problem has always been his finishing.
So what's the use of a striker if
But
you
you
have a
see,
problem
that's
with
it.
Yeah, finishing.
Even in that, even in his problem, in the midst of all the chaos, he's able to produce goals that is better than that of a Højlund.
United do not need
yeah.
a striker that will produce goals because he's better than this or that,
What do you
or
need?
because it's a little upgrade on. Look, I was talking about the fact that he's in the Chelsea side that is much more stable than this United.
Yeah.
So even then, he's having challenges. How much more moving to a team with a lot of pressure, a lot of expectation, a team that is a work in progress? I think that would be terrible business from Man United.
As for
And it would be a
United
bad
need
decision for Jackson himself.
Improving forward, they need. Look,
you
rather
can't
than
sign
going
you
for-
can't sign a proven forward.
rather than going. for
United
a player
cannot.
like Jackson.
United is struggling
I'd
to
rather
sign.
have Højlund and Zexi there at Man United than have Nicolas Jackson.
Put them together. They've not even given you 10 league goals this season.
Well, take it
That's
as a
the
season.
reason
And
why-
take it as a
That's
blip
why
season.
United
Yes.
needs to go for an upgrade on these guys,
And
that upgrade is
It's not Jackson.
Can United sign a proven striker? Because Ekitike is not a proven striker. He just had one good season at Frankfurt. The only
Can United go for
Sesko is
Sesko?
not a proven striker because
But
when I
Sesko has got
talk about
numbers.
proven strikers, I'm looking at players in the shape of Osimhen.
But Sesko has got numbers.
Because Sesko is not in the same. You don't put Sesko in the same. Sesko in the same category as Osimhen. Would you?
Is Joker is a proven striker,
Gokeres. He just had one good season.
so is he a proven striker?
No, he's not.
Mbeumo.
Mbeumo, if you look at Mbeumo with his time at Brentford, he's gradually growing. He's
Good.
And if you watch his trajectory, you will say that for me, I'm hoping that United is able to snap up Mbeumo
Is
because
Liam Delap a proven striker?
No.
Is João Pedro a proven striker?
No.
But these guys, when they have the opportunity, like we've seen them now, the team around them,
Yeah.
the fact that they take their chances,
Yeah.
sometimes quality rubs off. When you have certain kind of players, in a team,
you're scared.
yes, in a team that has certain kind of quality,
Yeah.
obviously you see a lot more quality from them.
Yeah.
I think that the performances that we've seen in the few games that João Pedro has had at Chelsea is giving me a different perspective of the kind of player
he is.
than what I saw at Brighton.
So you think that
So,
but the deal
I don't think that.
even if it, let's say it's true, it's a no for you.
it's a no, completely
Evans,
Complete-
Nicholas
I
Jackson
see
to
it-
I
Chelsea.
see it as a
Even
bad-
again, we are dealing with
Terrible
rumors here.
if United is going for a deal like that.
Yeah, it's a no for you.
No.
It's a no. What, I mean, I'm
Do you know why
honestly, I'm
it's a no-no?
surprised you guys
No.
are saying it.
No, would a team like Barcelona going for Nicolas Jackson?
I can't tell. But
Will
you see,
Liverpool go for Nicolas Jackson?
I can't
Will
tell.
Bayern Munich want to
but
get
you see,
Nicolas
if
Jackson?
Barcelona is letting go of Robin Lewandowski, they won't go for Nicolas Jackson because there's a standard to the striking they've experienced in the last 3, 4, 5 seasons. If Liverpool they are letting go of their strikers, there's a standard. Let me give you a typical example. Real Madrid. Real Madrid have let go of certain strikers. Raul Gonzalez. They won't go and bring in a striker that will just give you 2, 3 goals. They'll bring in somebody who is a proven striker. That's why I'm saying that if you look at the track record of United, the strikers you have at your disposal now, none of them can boast that let's put our goals together. It even amounts to 10 league goals. And here you are, you guys are speaking down on a striker who for 2 seasons has crossed the 10 goal barrier and has given you, numbers in terms of assists as well. That's Nicolas Jackson. Again, you can have your qualms about the kind of player he is, but I think that he's better than any of the
It's a bad-
materials.
Nah, he's
It-
trying to say that
it will
United should go for what is available.
That is what I want him to understand. It's not
The team needs a certain kind of quality.
Can you pay for
Not
what's available?
United can pay for whichever player that they want to pay
which
for.
player
Pay
is
for
available?
Mbeumo.
So
But Mbeumo did
we've
it.
not really
65
been
million.
big. We were looking at
65
it
million
just
plus
before
5
we went
million.
on the show
Yeah.
that United have just this afternoon they
Yes.
made another bid for Mbeumo.
Yes.
I don't think that United have an issue with
money.
spending money. It's just about being financially responsible, which is some of the challenges that the team has had
Okay.
to deal with past mistakes.
Okay.
So the team now, that's why Ineos is in. United has made a lot of irresponsible decisions financially. And now you don't keep going on in that tangent. The team is at a place where you don't have Champions League football,
Yeah.
but it is still an attractive team. You look in the market and you ask yourself, how many world-class strikers are even available in the first place? The best of the best of the best are already attached. So it's already a complicated transfer window.
Okay.
But that does not necessarily mean that because it's a complicated transfer window, United
make
should
further
just
mistakes.
go for whoever is available.
So for you,
if
it's-
Jackson-
you
if
think that
Jackson-
if United want a striker, it shouldn't be who is available.
It should be
Even if
what
it's better
United
than what
wants.
United have at the moment, it should be more about what United need. But
Exactly.
can't you marry the two? What United need should also be better than what United have at the moment.
No, what United
Can't you marry
need.
the two?
No, what United need.
Yeah.
Okay, should marry rather what is available, not what you have at the moment.
So you need
So
a
what
striker.
you need a striker,
Yes.
a proven striker, a striker that can give you 20 plus goals.
And there's none available.
Well, I believe in Sesko.
Oh.
United believed in Gyökeres. That deal is not happening. Fine, but they believe in Sesko.
Okay.
If Sesko is not really
you
on,
believe in Sesko, United should rather spend money on bringing him. Sammy,
yes,
would you
United should
prefer-
rather spend money
would
on
you-
bringing
would
Sesko
you-
than
if
Jackson.
United were to go out for a striker, would you rather prefer United? Obviously, you are not getting Gyökeres because he will get
Yes.
his sign for Arsenal. They won't get Victor Osimhen because his wages and he will get to play for Galatasaray.
Yes.
Or even probably move to any
Saudi
of the
Arabia.
Saudi Arabian teams. Is Sesko a good deal from Leipzig?
Honestly, even if Gyökeres was available, my first choice would always have been Victor Osimhen. I'm still not ruling that out because he still hasn't signed for any club yet.
True.
So that is still very possible. Again, if I have to pick Sesko or whoever is available, I'll go for whoever is available as long as it's not Nicolas Jackson. But United should rather sign me than to sign Nicolas Jackson. I'll go for whoever else is available.
My guy,
than
for me-
Nicolas
No,
Jackson.
but
I think realistic.
that Jackson really need this kind of pressure.
I listen. You can
Jackson
say
is still in his developmental stages. You don't need this pressure. You don't need this chaos.
maybe
At
he-
United,
maybe
seriously,
maybe
in
he wants-
United,
he wants
United
to prove himself.
No, at Manchester United,
Yes.
patience is in short supply.
But you see, the reason why I think
He's in short
Jackson
supply.
could be a hit at United is one, he knows how to pick his spot very well, like very, very well. His movement, it's always that decision making.
So why?
But I'm
has
coming.
Chelsea
I'm coming.
signed two more.
Two-
forwards?
I'm
two more
coming
strikers.
because of that. Maybe the manager doesn't want to do the job of a manager, because I think, see, over the years we've not had coaches, we've had just managers.
So United is not a club that you go and learn on the job.
That is what
No,
I'm
he's
trying
not
to
coming
say.
to learn
Because
on the
he's not
job.
performing,
He's not coming
you
to
go
learn
to
on the
United
job.
to
No,
try-
I think
At
that
United,
for
he will not be able
whatever
to-
mental barrier it may be, a young manager like Amorim could break that mental barrier, because my God, if Bruno Fernandes was in any other team apart from United, we'll be talking about him in the lights of other great geniuses. You know this.
And-
his
and-
first
and
instinct, he
Amorim
will pick a
can't
pass.
break-
He knows how to spot you. So imagine Nicolas Jackson in front of a Bruno Fernandes.
can't- he's just being
Oh,
he's just being
my
but
God.
can't Amorim do the same
Nicolas
work
Jackson.
on? Can't Amorim do the same work on Zexi and
No. Some courses are lost cause.
I think
Some courses are lost cause.
He started
Hotman is
picking
a lost
up-
cause.
I was impressed.
4 goals,
with the
0
performance
assists,
in
34
the
matches.
season.
Lost cause.
Look at how Zexi started the January
I was
the
impressed with
season
his
from
performance
January.
in the second
He's
half.
been better. He's been better.
But Zesty maybe, but Hojland lost cause.
It's not a lost cause.
No, that guy is the lost.
No.
No, that guy is the
For
lost.
Hojland,
You don't tell me that.
I am of
34
of the
games, 4
firm
goals,
belief-
2 assists.
I am of the firm belief that we are going to see a different Hojland next season.
Anyway,
I'm of the firm belief. I'm one of the few guys who believe that okay, just one more dance for Hojland to prove his worth. If not, probably some coins will do. Just challenge.
No, there's no more that for Hojland to prove his worth.
I
As said,
think one more
United
season.
is not a team to learn on the job.
I think one more
He's
season.
had what 2 seasons?
Two
at
seasons.
United?
Yes, that's
You
a
don't
point.
go into the next season with Erasmus Hojland as your main striker.
Not the main striker.
United could bring in another
20
top
goals.
quality striker,
Yes.
and he can deputize for
Yes.
that. And
Not a main
that-
striker.
It takes the pressure off
Of him.
When he gets an opportunity, he comes into the game and then he starts gaining his confidence.
But guys, is it
he
true
doesn't
that-
lead the line for United going into next season?
Is it true that Rashford's issues came up, Hojland became the main target, pressure, and so he is dwindling? Is it true that quandary?
I don't want to buy into this thing.
Because that is how I also as someone like per the discussions we've had and other things, the idea was like, okay, look, Hojland coming down is due to the weight that has been placed on his shoulder, and he feels like he's supposed to do something, and that's why he's making those petty mistakes in front of goal.
United should have known what they were getting. Like Sammy said, they paid 70 million pounds for a striker that had scored just 7 goals at Atalanta in the season they were getting him.
One goal is 10 million.
So technically, United, I do not know whose decision it was. Maybe they looked at him as a prospect. That's why I agree with Sammy that listen, the state United find themselves, they shouldn't now be trying prospects. They've tried prospects, it didn't work.
So Jackson shouldn't be.
No, but for me, that's what I'm saying. If the hierarchy have decided that Jackson is the man they want, I think I support them 100%.
United-
and I'm glad the hierarchy has not decided that.
He's an upgrade on everything United.
Nicolas Jackson's name has not even come up at Old Trafford.
No, you can't be this mischievous and go scot-free.
They don't
No
even
way.
know his name.
But I mean, you were telling us about Lamine Yamal's contract renewal.
Yes, we know that he's been offered a new deal at Barcelona. He signed a new deal, and it comes with being handed the number 10 jersey. Ansu Fati has gone out. I think he was on loan to Monaco.
No,
Is
he's
this an outright sale.
an outright sale. I think so. Yeah.
AS
The loan was
Yes,
to
Monaco.
Brighton.
Yes, they loaned him out to Brighton. He
Brighton,
came back,
and then he came back.
but now they've
Now he's
sold
gone
him
to
to
AS Monaco.
AS
So that number 10 jersey has been handed to Lamine Yamal. Well deserved. We've seen it in the past where Messi took over from Ronaldinho. We've seen Cristiano Ronaldo come into the United team
back.
at that young age and being offered the number 7 jersey. So
jersey, yeah.
there are certain players that are one of a kind that can handle that. And Lamine Yamal, I don't see him as that guy that plays under pressure. He's very calm. He's a natural. Yes, and he celebrated his birthday over the weekend.
Well, that birthday
has raised a
party,
lot
that
of
is
fuss.
the birthday party has its own legal issues, entertainment issues, boys issues. A lot of boys issues in that party. But for Yamal, well, I believe that he's too young to actually have all these things being entanglements with him. The other non-football issues being an entanglement with him. I think he'll perform in the number 10 jersey.
But the report's true. We've had the reports about the Dwarf Star were
there.
and there also reports that they had to hire ladies specifically blonde ladies with big breasts.
Really?
Be yes at the
Where
party.
did you get your information?
And we're offered between 10,000 and 20,000 euros.
Sami seems to have specific information
Like he knows.
at this particular section of the issue.
We don't know. But these were the reports that came out as to whether or not, because again, we know that there were part of the rules governing the party.
Governing the party,
per
yeah.
se, was that there were no cameras.
There were no cameras allowed.
So for an 18-year-old party, as you were saying, if we should be talking about him, he's not your regular 18-year-old. He
18-year-old
cannot
boy.
live the same life his
As
classmates are living.
they are living, yes.
Because there will always be media scrutiny.
Yeah.
If we were to be a different 18-year-old, I don't think we would
No one
talking
would have
about it.
even
So
cared.
if we are supposed to be talking about him, we should be talking about his talent and what he can do, not about the parties he's attending. Remember there were reports during his holiday in Brazil, and then he dated
with
a 50-year-old, and they were like, it wasn't
a woman.
true. Yes, and all these, whether or not they are true, you don't want to be having these kind of stories
Around you.
around Lamine Yamal at that age. So for me, it's a no-no, and I think that he needs proper management, because we've also seen some social media posts from him, even in the build-up to the Euro final and all of that. Some of the comments, he's a kid. He's acting his age, but he has to be managed properly, because he doesn't have that luxury of being your regular 18-year-old.
So it means that his PR team really not doing a good work.
I think he needs to be managed properly. I think his PR team need to manage him.
So as Sammy, you know where me.
I know you disagree.
Yeah, you know where I stand on this issue. Even before we talk about the party, I think that number 10 jersey is very iconic, like you said. Diego Armando Maradona has won it. Ronaldo has won it. Messi has won it. There's this one other Argentine who brilliant. He had to play for Villarreal at some point. Riquelme.
Yeah,
he also
Riquelme,
has won that jersey as well. So it's an iconic jersey in Barcelona. I think almost every club has that one iconic jersey. Manchester United is the number 7.
The 7
Real
jersey.
Madrid, likewise, they do have an iconic number as well. Almost every club. I don't know about Chelsea. Maybe they've not gotten there yet.
Please, 11.
They don't have.
11.
Yeah, maybe Chelsea they've
They
not
don't
gotten there yet.
Maybe
because they're a small
11.
club.
Maybe 11. Said Drogba was 11.
Or 26.
Yeah, maybe 11 or 26.
9. You want to go 9? Say 9, there will be a should be that.
There was a defender called Bularus.
Yeah, Belarus. Yeah. So for me, I think that there's a huge, responsibility on him. And if there's one thing I've come to know about Lamine Yamal is he loves challenges, and at his age, the cockiness, the arrogance around him. For me, it's good because listen, if you find yourself in an environment that is very hostile, like sports, entertainment, or those, you need to have a little bit of arrogance and cockiness around you. That's why I love Cristiano Ronaldo's arrogance, cockiness, and confidence. He doesn't care what you say about him. He's doing what he loves to do, and that's one thing I love about that little boy. Albeit sometimes he goes overboard because he's a kid. But to talk about that, the party bit. I've told you we had private conversations. Listen, I think the media is blowing this thing out of proportion. If this same party, the same team, everything was organized by even Lewandowski, nobody would care.
Lewandowski's an old man.
But this is Lamine Yamal.
Yeah, I'm coming. If it was organized by the right back, the French guy, Jules Koundé, nobody would care.
Okay.
We are talking about it because it's Lamine Yamal, and you see, there's no problem. There's nothing wrong. People are trying to read meanings into it. Like my very good friend Sammy here. Why would you have a private party with no cameras? People have private events. But
why would you have a private party?
The reason why I think
specific
that
individuals
I'm coming.
them to
The
come.
reason why I think that some of the things are being blown out of proportion is the mother was there, the father was there, other seasoned officials of the club, they were there,
and they watched on.
Barcelona is not just a football club. They have brands that attach themselves. Listen, brands are very keen about image. Even the player himself, he signed on to Adidas and some of these big brands. They are very keen about image. You know what happened to Tiger Woods? Immediately, issue of assault, and they pulled out. He lost billions of CDs from because they don't want to be associated with anything negativity. So trust me, for every contract brands they sign with you, there are certain clauses in there. I don't think that he would flout those things just to please himself. That's why I don't want to believe some of the things. But with the issue of the dwarfs, it's true. We call them the achondroplasias, dwarfism, or the midgets. It's true. But they were paid for their services. And like people were saying, I think the association just wants to be relevant.
Yeah, they want to be heard.
If you hire Peter Dinklage, so I mean, you're organizing an event, you hire Peter Dinklage to come and act there, you pay him. What's wrong with that? I mean, out there, they are used to
It's
clowns.
not a problem if I do, but it becomes an issue if Lamine
Yamal does.
The reason I'm saying this is because originally, there's nothing wrong with it. But that's why I'm saying also that he needs to be managed properly, because what the regular person would do, that
you don't expect him to
spark
do
media scrutiny. If a player like Lamine Yamal does, it becomes headline.
You know, the journalists were stationed outside
so that's
the party.
The
so
why,
the videos that came out, they got it from the people
outside.
who had finished
so
the
that's
event.
reason why before he makes certain decisions, he needs to look at some of these things.
Okay.
Albeit whatever decision or whatever way you choose to have fun, there's nothing wrong with it. But there are always consequences.
Yes.
Because of your personality.
Because of the
that's
position
why-
you hold
exactly,
or
that's
who you
why
are.
he needs
And
that
it's true.
proper management.
Guys,
And
you
it's
think
true.
that Barcelona should step in and try and I don't know. I don't want us to speak to conjecture, but if there is something you think he's doing that might eventually, because they've signed him onto a new contract, his release
Well,
contract
There was a
billions.
time in the
I
past,
feel-
I
I
guess
feel
they
Barcelona
didn't even
allow players to come to
drive
the
certain cars.
cars,
Should
yeah.
Barcelona come in and try and stem the tide?
No, if you ask me, if whatever happened in the party does not go contrary to the values of Barcelona, does not go contrary to the values of the sponsors, they should still keep quiet about it.
I don't think there's a big
It is
deal.
going to die out.
But Sami is
But
worried
if
about
I'm
the
worried
future of the player.
Yes, I'm worried. That is his personal branding. So that's as Sami said, managing comes in here. So whoever is managing Yamal, looking at whatever is happening, the repercussions 2, 3, 4 years from now. If you think it's not going to harm the image of the player, it's not going to harm the image of the sponsors that are coming to the player, you keep quiet about it. The media will always get something else to chew on.
Is there anything as bad publicity?
There is
a whole lot of bad publicity even around this. But again, just as you said, how true are the stories that are coming out? Some of them are too well.
But Sami is more interested in the big breast.
Well,
the blonde ladies with big
with the big breast thing. But I don't know how.
Blonde ladies with big breasts.
Sami, that's
When you're 18 years old, had you seen big breasts?
no. But you see, in the age and time.
Big breasts when you're 18 years old.
No, when I was 18,
Now that-
no.
yeah.
When I was 18,
Anyway, guys.
no. I mean, it's times and seasons, and this time around, 14, 13, 12-year-old people want to see things that I, at this age, will not even think of seeing, but they want to see those things. So probably times and seasons. But
Yeah.
Daddy Shayam,
But I mean, we'll talk about all of this, and that's why listeners, viewers, if you are out there, you have not subscribed to this channel, make sure you subscribe to Sport 101 on YouTube and on Facebook, Sport 10 ONE, also on Instagram and TikTok, Sport 101. We have amazing content for you. It's a build up to the season. I mean, you'll be hearing lots of analysis from the guys, Sami, Ivan Skwansa, Kofi Asiedu, and the entire team. It's good. Trust me, we are here to feed you with quality content every day. The channel, make sure you subscribe. It's Sport 101. Sami.
So after 2 seasons at West Ham United,
Yeah.
Kudus has made that transfer to Tottenham Hotspur. There were links from Chelsea. We heard about Chelsea at some point. A lot of the Ghanaian community were thinking that Chelsea would make that move, but £55 million move to Tottenham Hotspur. He'll be playing Champions League next season.
smart move, very good move for Kudus. I mean, the pedigree he came into the Premier League with, from Ajax all the way to West Ham, there's the type of performance he gave West Ham and how he was able to carry himself in the West Ham team. Suspension came back, still decided to bang in the goals, the link up play, the productivity he gives on the field should tell you that indeed he is a top notch player. And I must say, Postecoglou has done. Postecoglou couldn't get him earlier on, but man who's coming, he's done very good work. Former Brentford manager, that is Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank has done a very good work. First signing snap. I even thought he was going to go for some of the Brentford players before Kudus, but we heard about Mbeumo in the mix in there. Some of the Brentford players who were in the mix in there, but I think Kudus going to Tottenham, smart move for him. Style of play is good for him.
How does it fit into the manager?
He fits into the manager's profile quite simply. You know, the work that Mbeumo was doing for Brentford.
Yeah. Coming off the right
hand side, hold onto the ball. Hold on to the ball is a top notch one for him. Look, Kudus linking up with Solanke will be very good. Solanke will get time to get into position. Kudus will hold on to the ball. That is one way. 2, he can easily drive the ball forward.
There's Brennan Johnson. There's Kulusevski. There's Son.
Kulusevski, Brennan Johnson, fast players. Run all the way down.
So who does it displace from that team?
Well, it will depend on how you want to approach the game on match day. If you want to really approach the game on match day in a relaxed manner, control more of possession. Okay, get your players, your forwards into good positions before the final release of the ball is in. You would want to play Kudus.
There's been talk about the fact that Kudus is a ball carrier. He is that type of player that would always want to, run with the ball. Some of the West Ham fans are pained, and now they are talking about his weaknesses and the fact that he doesn't really release the ball as quickly as he should. Is that something that Thomas Frank has to work on and make him a better player, know when to release the ball?
Well, I think Thomas Frank has got people who will do that kind of work for him. The reason why he will want to go in for Kudus as a stance now would have to be he needs players who will not probably release the ball that quick until their striker or other players are in well-positioned areas. Probably that is the reason why Kudus will have to play on the regular for you. You need players who can win you critical fouls at around the 18-yard box, even in the 18-yard box. Players who can control the tempo of the game for you. When there is a lot of pressure on you, you are leading by a slim goal or something, they can control the tempo of the game for you, hold on to the ball, carry the ball along. And Kudus is someone who can come back, win the ball for you, bring it forward, and then distribute easily. And don't forget, he's a good goal scorer as well.
Oh yes,
he's got power in his boots. Exactly. He's got power in his boots. Shoots from outside. So I think it's a brilliant signing for Tottenham Hotspur. Very, very brilliant.
Well, as to whether or not it's an upgrade on West Ham United, that's another debate. I don't necessarily think that Spurs is an upgrade of West Ham United. That's a different debate altogether. But going into next season, they'll be playing Champions League football. It's another opportunity for him to showcase himself on a bigger stage. Spurs are also rebuilding. They brought in the new manager. They are making 1 or 2 signings in there. So obviously they will be challenging for European places or top 6 next season. They have a fantastic stadium. So I think all is set for him. It's a good move for him. It's come at the right time. It's up to him to take his chances. Maybe he has another big transfer coming up in the next couple of seasons.
2 seasons from now.
2-3
I'm
seasons,
seeing 2
depending
seasons
on
from
how
now.
he performs as Spurs.
I'm seeing 2 seasons from now.
I would have said it would have been an upgrade if he had moved from West Ham to Chelsea. But from West Ham to Tottenham, I see that it's sidestep. Yes, the only difference here is that Spurs
will play in the
Champions League next season
because they won the Europa League from Manchester United.
You don't have to remind me.
Well.
Don't remind me about that day. But again, I just think that West Ham, I'm not really clear on the projects that they are doing. Graham Potter is the manager there, right? I'm not really clear. I haven't really been impressed with the activities in the summer and in the transfer window. He had a good first season. Last season wasn't too good. Whether they can improve on how they were last season, I think that if he stayed at West Ham United this season, it would diminish his value going into the next transfer window. We are going into World Cup here. So obviously, players are looking at making certain big moves that would improve their chances of
benefit
being
them
called up to the national
World Cup,
team. Yes, and so I think it's a brilliant move for him. He's going to be playing in North London. He has new rivals in Arsenal, and well, we can only wish him all the best.
All the best. All
Good
the
move
best.
from Mohamed Kudus.
Very good move.
So, guys, it's been another sitting here with the guys
Wonderful
here.
sitting.
Sports 101. So, like, subscribe, share Sports 101 on all platforms: YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. You'll find us there, Sports 101. You can comment, you can send in your suggestions on Sports 101. Have a good one.